So I think we're good.
Are we
I
good?
had the new
Yeah.
one.
Okay. All right, so we'll start with teacher Article 6. We have a lot of reservations about doing this, but we're gonna bring this back into open book, with the 90 minutes. We're gonna be collecting some data from our non-classroom folks because we don't believe, and I think to Ms. Collins' point, I think they recognize this too, the non-instructional duty committee is not functioning holistically as it should, at each work site. We have pockets where it is functioning well. And I know that, Rebecca, did you want to talk about your experience? Because we want to put some things into the room that you guys can help us start addressing, because they're not being done consistently.
So when I first started teaching the year we went COVID, we didn't have it. It was just, I just showed up, did it. Got a new principal a few years later and we formed the non-instructional duty committee, which I took lead on, in collaboration with my principal, my admin, and some other staff, doing a survey, getting their input, and we all talked it out. And then recently, coming up this year, it was kind of, we always planned the year at the end of the year, so it was ready for the new school year. My new principal, kind of mentioned that she just kind of wants to do it and then just give it to grade chairs to approve. And to me, felt like it was easier to do a collaboration, so we all had that input right then and there, making it together. That's just kind of how I felt like it was working better, because then we had non-instructional duty, we had teachers, we had people from different areas who all had inputs while we collectively did it together. But that's just my opinion.
And so, in open book, we'll be bringing some hard data from our non-classroom folks and really asking our membership, do they even know what the non-instructional duty committee is? Because I bet that a lot of people don't, because, and this is an education piece that we've been doing with our stewards and our membership too, but this is a joint thing, and if this is gonna work, because we do want people to be abused, and even if they have 90 minutes a day, what we originally proposed, that's by the time you add all that up at the end of the week, that's an entire day that the district has paid them to watch kids and not do their actual job that they've been hired to do, whether that's a testing coordinator, a behavior interventionist, or an instructional coach, or what have you. So this still is a big concern of ours. And we will be bringing this back to open book.
Fast, clarifying
Yeah.
question based off the narrative.
Wait, can you get a mic first?
So it's just,
For the Zoom. So that they can hear.
so just a clarifying question, the example that was just shared, I want to make sure I understood it correctly. Was the entirety of the faculty collaborative at that time? Or was it a small group?
It was the committee.
So how's that I'm trying to understand the concern there.
Mhm.
How is it any different than charging grade level chairs to have a conversation, arguably with more staff,
Mhm.
to get input and feedback?
Well,
And then bringing it back to the committee for finalization. I mean, how is that?
Yeah, well, and with Rebecca's example, her principal made the schedule on her own and said, here it is,
Oh,
approve
I
it or
thought I
not.
heard she said, we've got to get this done,
It-
and then assigned it to the grade level
No.
chairs to come up with the schedule. I misunderstood.
No, what she was saying was that the principal did it and said, grade chairs look at it and approve it. And so that's not how that should be done.
Yep.
And so that was the concern, and that's not an isolated, and,
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in that language, 6.72, it defines who's in the
Yep.
committee, on the membership,
Yep.
whatever.
Mm-hmm. And so, we will sign 6 with the in-service. Now, this isn't gonna look pretty because I don't have a clean copy, but, if one of you have, can I have it? Because my copy is not clean. I've written over it. And so I handed out teacher 6, and we would need to just strike through that 90-day right now and then sign.
Let's see. We got one. Here's a clean 6.
Okay.
And what are we doing? We're striking
So-
through the 90 like we originally
Yeah.
proposed.
And then we have the in-service points, and then the other one was already clean with the AC.
30 days at the end of the semester. And
Yeah.
then-
Striking through the 90, but accepting the 75? Is that the? is that
No,
the-
that's another article.
75, we already signed off on that with the onboarding, or we will,
Yeah,
once,
that's another article.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm at 6.15, page 3 of 12.
yes.
And we're gonna strike that underlined
Yep.
section. I think she has one.
It's not really clean. I've written over mine, so if I can get one that I pass to you guys.
So Stephanie will do the initial on the
mhm.
strike through, like we did on the
Yep.
others, and a date, I guess. Do you date it or?
Yeah,
just
I'll date it, yeah.
No, I think we have done the best we've ever done, not killing trees this time around.
I would like that to continue to happen. It makes me cry every time I kill reams of paper.
It's a lot of paper.
Sometimes I enjoy it. Depends on when I'm copying onto it.
Mm-mm.
Others? All those stuff.
Yay.
Start signing, it's your turn. Right, so open book, Article 6 is TA.
Mm. If she needs some sun, she took it.
Yeah, right, well, I found it, I'll make it. No, no, not that. This is probably your best. So here is Article 6.
All right, and then we had some discussion about the referrals. You know, Tony used to be a bus driver, so she was very familiar with the paper copy. And we have two paras on our team. And so we hear you about the electronic. That is something that we do want to work towards and see what's possible with that. But the also issue really address the issue now, because like, I know she was saying that at her school, she's been asking for even the paper copies and she's not getting them. And so we want to have a way to where they are writing, and if we're going to follow the way the bus drivers do it, we would like that codified. And so we have, I want to read this because I hand wrote it out. So, and this would be for the para and ESP articles. So para educators or ESPs, depending on the article, will have access to write a referral on paper in at least a triplicate to be submitted to administration. Administration will report actions taken from the referral and a completed copy returned to the referring employee. Will that work so that so that they have access to write a referral? We already have the system for the bus drivers, and that's what we would want to use.
If that's the current process, because that's my understanding that bus drivers do based off my recent ride along. If that's the process, I don't have an issue with that.
I'm getting a nod from Talay, previous principal. Yes,
Okay.
that is the triplicate.
Yeah.
The triplicate piece was what I want to ensure on that carbon copy.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah.
I
And
don't,
actually, I think Kevin said there's 4
okay,
on it, but we wanted to make
You
sure.
get the pink copy back with
Yeah.
the response from the administrator. So I know they get a copy, they retain a copy when they
Okay.
submit it, and they get a copy back when the administrator completes it.
Okay.
So they may be right, there may be 4
Okay.
pages to it.
So that's what we would like to bring forward. That's an existing process that is already used with bus drivers. We just want to ensure that our other support staff have that same access.
I don't have any immediate aversion to the language. I am just looking out both ways to the team or otherwise.
Just ask on the record, where would they like those referrals placed? So how do we define access? Is it they have to go to a principal?
It's a good point. So
Okay.
how will they access them? Will they be in the front office? Will the principal have them? Will it be in a mailbox in the teacher's workroom? You know,
Maybe, yeah, just near their sign-in sheets.
Okay. All right.
With a clipboard on.
Yeah,
On the,
because all of the support staff have to sign in because they're hourly.
Readily available access.
Just needing, yeah, just so they can pick up a stack.
So with that being
you
all
want
right,
inconsistent, okay, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're okay with it if it's near where they have to sign in, because hourly employees have to sign in.
We'll work with you to identify that.
Okay.
Now maybe we can convey that.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and it looks messy, so if you guys have, actually, I can write it on, I have a cleaner ESP that I can rewrite it on. Do you guys have 2 clean paras
What
and a clean E ESP?
we have, what do we need here? We need a 5, we need a 5, Article 5 and an Article 4.
So I have an ESP, so I would need 2
Here's
clean paras and 1
para
clean
5.
ESP. Okay,
That should do it. And
I
then
have
get
2
an
paras, so
ESP.
I'll start.
We got an ESP. Do you have an ESP?
I have 1 ESP and 1 para, so I need 1 more and 1 more ESP.
There's 1 pair, 1 ESP.
Is this still? Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm gonna write that real quick in a
Alright.
clean copy.
Can I just pause you for
Yeah.
a moment? So what will we do with the language at the bottom of those that we would reject it, but I thought you were gonna address it probably in another article, because there was one that had
It was just the onboarding.
there was one we had the agreement on, right?
Yeah.
That one.
So
That-
we'll make sure that that's edited too.
Yeah, because
You guys are meeting next week.
Yeah, we're gonna have to meet next week for clean copies and grids.
When I don't know.
Yep.
Do
Mhm.
you want to put that out? to you, or-
Yes, yeah.
because that
And
was,
we can do that toward the end, Mr. Hyde.
that was on our proposal, was all three articles at the top,
Yep.
right? That's the one we're gonna use as the record.
No, that was the other one. That is, teacher para for an ESP 5. I know that the numbers are inversed.
I don't think.
Up in your number 2, your number 2, we have it signed to you on teacher article 4. But that language will be mirrored in para 4 and ESP 5. And I'll bring that when we meet next week to do logistics of ratification. But what we're talking about is para 5 and ESP 4 for the onboarding and then the referral. So, and I have those copies here.
What about teacher 5.96?
That's all that's just the onboarding
Correct.
that we're good with.
And so where is that for signature?
Well, we'll have to sign all of that. And we were just waiting to sign the onboarding because it was
I
embedded
don't
in
think it
those
matters how
other.
it gets done, because it's all gonna get done, because
Yes.
it's duplicated to
Mhm.
start with in 2 places.
Yeah.
So
So just give me a second and let me, no,
no, we said we would wait.
we waited.
I think she made the remark that we had agreement on.
Yeah, we have agreement. We just didn't sign
Right.
it. So just give me 1 second. Educators will include access. Okay, and then on the onboarding, I just want to make sure it matches with what. So I'm gonna do all of the things at once, and then I'll have you look at it.
Is that the one at the top that gives the 3 articles? Look at the top of that one.
Yes.
So do you want to just strike through the language?
Well,
Yeah,
do you want to just do the
Just-
para
make a reference to.
and then make a
stuff that-
reference?
Yeah.
So let's do that. So, okay, I'm
So
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Because the onboarding is the only thing in the teacher 5.
Mhm.
And so what I'll do on the 2 para ones,
But CT
because the ESP and the para are the exact same and the
CT
onboarding
5.9
language is the same.
makes
So we'll sign the TA on this and then I'll make a note to make sure that I have the ESP and the teacher clean one when we meet next week. That way I don't have to write this a million times. Okay, so give.
That's a lot of writing. We've written it once, well, twice. I think you wrote it on both copies before you.
Okay. So hold on. Do you have teacher 5 with your handwritten additions? Cause I think I have yours
I gave you my original.
and then I have mine.
Yeah, so that was the 2 when you went out, that matched one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one where you said we had agreement.
Yep.
So that completes that one. So here's what I'm tracking. So that
Yeah.
gives us this one right here,
Mm-hmm.
the 5.96.
Bless you.
And I was thinking we could scratch through or just make a reference.
Why teacher 5 then? Cause I have Brian's. Did I hand you back a teacher 5?
I don't think so.
Hold on.
It's there.
Oh,
Just breathe, it's there. Did you put the time to write them both?
I did, I wrote it for I did. Right here. All right, so what we'll do,
Zach, give the articles at the top like the other one.
Hmm.
Should be teacher five.
this is
6.
picture 5, I wasn't my written copy, but.
Does it
Right,
give
so-
5.28 and 4.28 at the top?
Is that one more copies? Okay.
This is Brian's that he wrote on. Okay. So that I keep everything straight. And so what I will do, we'll sign off on the para. Because the para has the onboarding language that will go in all 3 contracts. And I'll make a note that we need to mirror this in the ESP and teacher. And then I will bring those for TA, for official TA, so that we each have copies of them next week. And then the para one will have the ESP referral language as well. So let me finish this and then I'll let you look at it, and then that way we have it straight. So just give me 1 sec.
That's why you said back to number 2.
Yeah.
I get it. We got it. Table.
Sometimes you just need to review all of the contracts and have the common language in front of all of them.
I agree.
That sounds like a logistical nightmare.
It would be so much nicer.
I'm not denying it's gonna be nicer. It's so much front loading of work.
So we've got para, teacher, para. So read this one, and what I would say there is that on the onboarding language, we'll say mirrored in ESP, whatever that article is, and then teacher 5, whatever the rest of that is. And then on the referral, we'll say mirrored in ESP, and then we'll make sure that we have clean TAs when we sit down next week and do logistics.
Wait, I'm gonna let you put the same consistent note
Mm-hmm,
in this one when you get it over there.
okay. And this is note. Language. Feature.
Six.
You're up. Use the note.
Yep. I have the note too.
This one's in that. Let's go to that now. Unless there's questions on.
Okay. So there's that. And then note.
Note mirror language in ESP 4.51. And we still got work to get done in teacher 5.96.
Well, I'm gonna say here on the onboarding, you'll see my note on the onboarding language when you read that.
All right. 5.96.
And then that way I'll just
Okay.
bring clean copies of that. So
Okay.
I don't have to rewrite all of that. I'll just type it up. And then here. Note. Mirror language.
ESP.
Teachers.
Yeah, I think that gets it.
And ESP.
I'm gonna initial and date.
Yep.
The note you made and you can do the same.
Okay, sounds good. Alright, and we need to put these to this. Side. I'll put these mixed up.
And you know what I don't think I did on that one?
Hmm.
I don't think I signed on the stuff on the side.
Okay, I can give it back to you.
Yeah. Just.
Bless you.
Okay.
If you don't hit me that one, that's the one he didn't sign. but-
Yeah, and then the
Oh,
notes.
Thank you.
Extra notes supposed to be on that.
Yeah. Doesn't do anything.
That one's, you guys need to sign.
Three.
Did we have 3?
We need one back.
I only need 2.
All right.
Well, we need one back on that.
Yeah, let's use this one.
Okay,
This one has the note. Which one is that one for?
This one, let's just put this one here for a minute. We need the one with the 2 minutes. This one has a note, this one has a note. Okay, we're good.
okay.
Okay. Heather, you've signed that one. I've signed that one. This one's ready for your signature. And then
Really?
this one hasn't been done. Okay.
Ask them, all the notes on them.
Yeah, I have been. Did you, and you did on this one?
That's,
No, you didn't. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
is it one okay or
Yeah.
there's two?
And we're gonna do this. If we got her done.
Okay.
This is. You know.
I got my notes there.
Let's see how you get to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, so you have one. And so what I'll do, Jackson has a field trip tomorrow that I'm going on, so I'll start working on this Friday. And then what we'll need to do, Brian, is let's look at some we need to look at next week and block off a chunk of time to do the salary grids with the 2%, for each pay level. I already have this spreadsheets kind of set up, so I can do the
You
two.
already have-
And I think JD probably has this too, so we just need to go down and make sure that it matches. And then, I think because we have to do that, we want to make sure we have clean TAs. We need to get a defined timeline for ratification, fleshed out next week. So that we know when we need to start advertising. Because per our bylaws, we have to advertise for 5 work days. Before we can actually put it out for a vote. And so we can go through that timeline. So I had kind of looked at the calendar today just to see, hypothetically, I think that if we have next week to get documents in order to make sure we're clear on timelines, and we can have all the TAs and I have time to prepare the contracts to go out for advertisement. We can probably shoot to put this out for advertisement Monday, January 26th. If we, can get all of that work done next week, which we should be able to. And then if we have it out for advertisement for that full last week of January, we could potentially have the vote for February 2nd, start Monday, February 2nd. Plus or minus a day, depending on, if we run into any hiccups with timelines.
And there was one last thing I wanted, we can talk about later was job descriptions, if we had any hanging out there that we need to push through. And I'm not, I think there may be one, but I need to
I
check.
think there's one, but I actually don't think it impacts.
It's on my mind.
Let's touch base I'll call you on Friday.
That may also fall into the intern discussion, the one that's hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could, so.
Yeah, we'll touch base on Friday.
But I think if we could figure it out, that would be something we could include with this.
Yep,
When you send it out for your.
for,
members to look at.
yep, for advertisement.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll give you a call on Friday and we'll work out logistics with that. All right.
Well, let me say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a great night.
Oh.
Yep.
Sorry, we have one more thing. Because we do have the millage referendum MOU floating out there, and I know I spoke with Mr. Hyde this morning. He had told me that he was working on a few more things with Miss Jenkins and some other folks. And so that MOU, we could even, if we're able to work, he's able to get his information, we could even potentially have that signed and advertised in this ratification vote as well, but I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you.
Preston, so I'll provide the data of it show up with you tomorrow.
Okay,
This is the projected revenue data
okay.
based off the 80-20 split, charter school allocation, because they're required to provide their proportionate share.
Mm-hmm.
So Ms. Jenkins ran the numbers based off projected revenue that we expect this year, and then projected out in outgoing years. A 5% increase, because that's what we've averaged historically. Now, that could change, but then there's language that's going to be in the MOU
Yeah.
that would address this. We are
It has
not-
over and under.
We are in agreement that we have no intention on delaying this part of it. Typically, school districts would wait till after the referendum passes. I believe
No.
all of our employees deserve to know what that might look like
Mm-hmm.
and arguably know what impact their vote may or may not have. And then we have, as we mentioned, we have 3 groups we have to work through.
Mhm.
Part of the complication is one of our groups has the Me Too clause, so we gotta make sure that it's proportionately shared.
Mhm.
And what we don't wanna do is commit to a dollar amount and then have to come back to the table because either wasn't enough revenue or there's extra revenue,
Mhm.
which is always a nice thing. There's always a potential that we may generate more revenue in a given year and have to come back to the
Yeah.
table to reallocate, redistribute that. We also talked
Mhm.
about, just so everybody in the room and those watching, we have to walk through a lot of scenarios similar to what happens with school improvement dollars.
Mhm.
What happens if somebody comes in mid-year? What happens if somebody comes in at the end of the year? What happens if somebody leaves? Are we
Yeah.
prorating those dollar amounts? I just think there's some
Mhm.
procedural things we have to work through so that we don't end up in disagreement later.
Mhm.
So we'll try to forecast as many of those as possible, but I think we can get there relatively quickly.
Okay.
So, thank you for the flexibility, and I think it's mutually beneficial that we create that timeline.
Mhm.
But the goal would be to try and get this to align with your vote,
Mhm.
to ratify this contract.
Yep.
So
Thank you. All right. Well,
We're off the record. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your team
Yes,
staying. Thanks
Yes.
for this. team
No, thank you
staying.
for staying and punching this